So this is something that's a little bit different for me. I usually like to use my channel to highlight the watches that I really like and they bring me joy, and the watches I think there should be more information on. But today, I feel like having a little whinge. I feel like complaining. Before we get into it, I just need to say, these are really just my opinions. None of the watches on this list are objectively bad. They all do their job, they all tell the time. Some of them are even quite complicated. So if these are watches that you really like and enjoy, don't let me and my sour grapes get in the way of you loving these. Watch tastes are so subjective, so don't let my opinion have any sway. Plus, I'm wearing a Moonswatch Polar Lights right now, so let that be a sign to you that I'm tasteless and my opinions do not matter. Now, here it is, my sweet little listicle of the worst watches of the last 3 years. Oosh, the big gold Deepsea. So as of the time of filming, Rolex has had a pretty uninteresting 2024. Their Watches and Wonders novelties were kinda lackluster, but the one slightly more interesting release they had was the new Deepsea in 18 karat yellow gold. There are some good parts to this. Gold and blue look fantastic together. No Cyclops date on the Deepseas, which I strongly prefer. Looking at it face on, this is a great looking watch. But the problem is, it is an absolute beast, with a 44mm case diameter, 17.7mm thickness, and this is in gold. This is a very heavy, chunky boy. I don't know why this watch exists. It's made for compression diving, and I don't think anyone is going compression diving in their solid gold Rolex with PCLs. Well, okay, maybe I'm being a little bit hasty. This could be awesome for someone with giant wrists. You'd need a very big wrist and a very big budget for this one, but I guess there's a market for it. I just personally dislike this so much. Okay, the AP Black Panther collaboration. Was this watch in the last 3 years, actually? Hold on. Ooh, it's only just out. It was released the 14th of April, 2021. But whatever. I'm still gonna do it. I think that first Rolex I said might get some disagreement, but I don't think many people will argue with me about the AP Royal Oak Concept Black Panther. This is the collaboration that just didn't need to happen. I feel like the Marvel and Audemars Piguet really cheapens a great maison. I don't care that it was Black Panther, it could have been Iron Man, Captain America. I just think it was a strange collaboration.
Disgusting!
As a watch, it's actually quite cool, with the flying tourbillon, titanium case, ceramic bezel, but the execution is just so vulgar. And I don't know if that's too strong of a word, but that's how strongly I feel against this watch. But hey, these sold out real quick at 150,000 Swiss francs per piece. So what do I know? Let's stay in Audemars Piguet land just for one more, and I think this is a contentious one, but the very 1960s AP remaster too. Now, there's a lot about these that are kind of up my alley. I'm one of those weirdos who likes asymmetrical odd watches. I think the brushing looks fantastic, I love the dial, and these are a reissue of the 5159 BA from 1959 to 1963. These vintage models are rare. They made 30 asymmetrical cases total, and only 7 pieces in yellow gold. The theory of doing a reissue of these is great, but the execution just isn't my favorite. The originals clocked in at 27.5mm case diameter, which I know sounds insanely small, but when we're talking odd-shaped rectangular watches, it's a far nicer size than the remaster at 41mm, 9.7mm thick, and 30 meters of water resistance. I think sometimes it sounds like I'm just mad at brands for making watches that are too large for me, which is bang on actually, but it's only half true. I think there's a certain elegance that's being taken away when we keep making watches too large. 41mm is usually no problem, but with this case shape, ugh. But you know, as time goes on, I'm becoming less of a hater, and I think I need to be a bit nicer and a bit more open-minded to this one. I'd love to know in those comments down below, what are your thoughts on this reedition? Okay, I am so sorry if you have a Blancpain watch Scuba 50. Please don't let me and my very subjective opinion get in the way of you loving this watch. And as I say all these words, do remember I'm wearing a Moon's watch right now. I have no taste, so... But this is one that really didn't do it for me, and I tried to make myself love it. I really did, but we just never bonded. I've sold 2 watches from my collection ever, and one I completely regret selling, so my Nomos Tonganta Hodinkee limited edition, and one that I do not regret selling at all, which was the Scuba 50. And don't worry, I sold it for less than retail because I refuse to be a flipper. Once again, in theory, I can dig it. A colorful swatch interpretation of the first modern dive watch, the 50 Fathoms. Sign me up, this sounds great. This is a watch that deserves far more attention than it gets, and it makes the 50 Fathoms wearing experience far more attainable, like what they did with the Moonswatch. I think it's easy for us to forget as enthusiasts. The proper luxury versions of these watches are very expensive, and that's a very real obstacle for a lot of people. The price point of the 50 Fathoms actively keeps me away from buying it. But these really do capture the size and proportions of the 50 Fathoms just in the most swatch way. But for me, something about it just felt so cheap. And I know that doesn't make sense as I say it. Like, as I'm wearing the Moonswatch, these feel cheap as well. And these just have like a cheap, tacky quality that's lovely and you love it, like going to Las Vegas or something. But there's something not right with the 50 Fathoms for me. Or the Scuba 50, I should say. I do get it. These are made to be a cheap and cheerful watch. I don't know why this feels so much worse than the Moonswatch for me. Maybe it's the thickness. Maybe it's the strap. I don't know. I think it's just how much of the case is bioceramic. But still, in theory, love. Just in practice, didn't like. Okay, the last watch on here, the Patek Philippe 5260 Grand Complication Aquanaut Loose. I can't tell if this is rich person stuff and I'm just too poor that I don't understand it. Maybe rich people... Technically, this is an amazing watch. Minute repeater with 2 classic gongs. It has 130 baguette cut diamonds on the dial, 779 multicolored baguette diamonds forming a rainbow on the bezel, and the case sides and bracelet use the invisible setting technique. From a technical side, this is an absolute freaking marvel. The movement, the complication, everything, amazing. But I just can't overstate how much I aesthetically hate this. But I really think this is just rich people stuff that I don't understand. So this retails for £2.5 million. I don't think I was ever the target demographic to begin with. I don't think Thierry is sat in Switzerland lamenting that WATCHES doesn't like the full gem set minute repeater Aquanaut. Actually, I think that's true of like every watch on this list. I don't think AP is worried about selling their 250-piece limited remaster because Gringa doesn't like it. Oh no. But those are just some of my least favorite watches in the past 3 years. I'd love to know in those comments down below, is there any watches that you downright hate? I love reading everyone's thoughts, opinions, complaints. And remember, it's only watches. It's all subjective. No one's right or wrong, except for me. My opinion is right always. Far from it. Now let's thank the greatest people in the world, the gorgeous, fabulous, wonderful Pope tier patrons. Patrons, you are the greatest people ever, you fabulous, fantastic people. But a special big thank you to the Pope tier patrons, the names that are on the screen right now. Thank you so much for supporting my weird little channel. As so many of you know, I'm on maternity leave right now. So if you're a newer patron, I'm so sorry if I haven't got your name on the screen quite yet. I will get it on there. I might even do like a pinned comment of, you know, the newest patrons, so you get your shout out. Yeah, you're amazing. Thank you so much.